With James Gunn making his own DC universe soon, I thought it was perfect time to make this video talking about how I would make the DC universe, or how I would structure the DC universe if I was in control, instead of James Gunn. In this video we'll talk about Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3. But anyways, let's get started. So the first movie is a Superman movie, and I know this is cheap and all, but I like the Man of Steel movie, so I'm keeping the Man of Steel movie with some small changes. I'm completely fine with Salt being the first villain of the franchise and love the movie. The changes I would make would be that Superman would help people a lot with smaller problems, like helping cattle free, robberies, and helping a lady over the streets or something, to get the people to trust him. Also, Jimmy would not die in this movie, but he will have a small role with Lois Lane, and Jonathan Kent would not die in this movie as well. In the post-credit scene of the movie, there would be people talking in the background, and the camera would roll to a table where we see the Batman's mask. And the screen, a guy picks up the mask, and on the screen we see that someone has been watching Superman. And that's how the first movie ends, setting up the next movie, which is the Batman. The second movie of the universe would be a Batman movie with the name Batman the Prince of Crime, which is its Joker's nickname, with a little tweak. And that means the Joker would be in it, of course. The Bat family would also be in the movie because this established Batman. And the Bat family would consist of Batman, Alfred, Nightwing, and Jason Todd as Robin. Barbara would also be in the movie, but not as Batgirl, and of course her dad is in it. But let's go over to talk about the movie. The movie starts with Batman driving the Batmobile to a crime scene where Scarecrow is, and he uses the fear toxin on the cops, and Batman who tries to get Scarecrow, but he gets away only to be kidnapped by the Joker, who finds out everything about the fear toxin. The Joker kills Scarecrow and leaves his head for Batman to find it. Moments later, while Batman and Nightwing are looking for a lost lead, every TV in Gotham gets a video that reveals the location of Joker. And Jason, who has been waiting a year, goes after him alone. Alfred, who tried to stop Jason from going, lets Bruce know. And Bruce is on the other side of Gotham, so he has to drive a long way to get there. Because Alfred and Batman knows it's somewhat of a plan of the Joker. When Jason enters the building, he gets jumped by the Joker, and the Joker knocks him out and places a bomb on Jason and leaves him in the building. Batman sees the Joker and goes after him, not knowing about the bomb. The Joker uses the fear toxin on Bruce, but somehow this time it doesn't work, and Batman breaks out of it and beats up the Joker badly and asks where Jason is, and the Joker tells him, and he runs to the abandoned house. Just a bit late, and he sees the explosions and tries to find Jason's body that just isn't there. Setting up obviously Red Hood. Movie ends with Jason's funeral. Oh yeah, Nightwing takes Joker to the prison, so Batman wouldn't kill him. Obviously, Nightwing always figuring out. The post-credit scene would be Ra's al Ghul, who just learned about Jason, and the camera rolls to the Lazarus pit, just to hint again at Jason's revival. The next movie of my universe would be about the last character in the Trinity. Yes, Wonder Woman. And the movie would be similar to the real life one, the first one, not the 1981 or 1984, I mean. But it would take place in the same time as the first two movies of the universe, so in one time. Another change I would make to the movie is when Diana was leaving the mascara, she got an amulet, which would tell her how to get back home to the mascara. The villain, Ares, goes after the amulet. In the battle with Ares and Wonder Woman, she has to destroy it, and then she gets the power to defeat Ares. The next movie of my universe, obviously, would be The Flash, and it would kinda be his origin story. We start off by seeing his mom die and all that thing with the reverse flash and everything. We won't see references, we see just blurs of the red and yellow. Then we cut to a couple of years later, where Barry gets a job as a forensic chemist to investigate his mother's death, but while doing so, he gets struck by lightning and goes into a coma for a couple of months. When he wakes up, he discovers that he has super speed. Meanwhile, two prisoners escape from prison, Captain Cold and Heatwave. While Barry is training, he hears that they are robbing a store, so he runs to save the day. But it ends badly for him. He gets shot by the Cold gun, and the bad guy escapes. The second time they meet, Captain Cold freezes Barry and tells Heatwave to burn him alive and just get rid of him. But in that moment, Barry enters the Speed Force and breaks loose of the ice and stops Captain Cold and Heatwave. And yes, Barry and Iris are together in this movie. But anyways, the post-credit scene would be Barry going to stop a robbery, but he finds a robber stuck to the wall by an arrow. Then an arrow goes past Barry's leg, and the camera rolls to see the green arrow. The final solo film of Phase 1 is Green Lantern. The movie starts with a fight between the Green Lantern Corps and the Red Lantern Corps, where we see Atrocitus kill Abu Sur, and his ring goes to find a new wielder. Then we see Hal Jordan, and he is flying an army plane, and the plane suddenly stops working and is about to crash, but then the ring comes and saves Hal Jordan in the perfect time and makes him his wielder and takes him back to Oa, where Hal Jordan gets taken under and trained by Sinestro. While he's training, the Red Lanterns attack and Hal must fight and protect himself. While he's getting absolutely destroyed, he suddenly, because he has so much willpower, cuts into it and learns how to use the ring. He defeats Atrocitus and throws him into the jail, and the Red Lantern Corps flee. After that, Hal Jordan becomes a real Green Lantern, and one of the protectors of Sector 2814, which is Earth. I made a small change to the Green Lantern Corps. I made that each sector has a few protectors instead of one, like in the comics. So I could have Hal and John together. But anyway, Sinestro gets mad of the decision and flies away. There are two post-credit scenes in this movie. The first one is Sinestro going and putting on a yellow power ring. And the second one is Hal Jordan seeing a giant alien ship flying to Earth, which would tease at the Justice League movie. The final movie of Phase 1 of my universe is the Justice League, obviously. And the member of the first teams, or the members, would be Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Hal Jordan, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, and Green Arrow. The movie would start by showing us what all the members are doing. Batman chasing a car, Superman stopping crimes, Barry working on his suit, Diana working. Then an alien ship arrives and starts shooting out pods to every city, some in Gotham, some in Metropolis, and some in the ocean, and obviously some in Central City. And the main ship hovering over Washington, DC. They attack the superheroes, but not Batman because he's just a normal human. That's the mistake they make. Batman sees the invasion and activates his plan, the Justice League. He calls Oliver, he has sent Oliver to scout the Flash, to recruit Flash. And meanwhile, Batman goes to recruit Wonder Woman and Superman into his team. While fighting the aliens, Superman sees a fight between two aliens in the sky, and he being himself, goes to help the other alien and gets himself captured by the White Martians. Yeah, the White Martians are the villains in this movie. The alien he helped was Martian Manhunter, who goes to Batman knowing the Martians' weakness, and that they don't really care about Batman because he's not a super being. Meanwhile, Aquaman comes out of the ocean to destroy the mothership. Barry comes to him and tries to recruit him, which works because Aquaman wants to protect Atlantis at all costs. Then Martian Manhunter tells Batman everything, and he and Batman come up with a plan that Barry, Bruce, and Oliver sneak up into the ship, while Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman would keep the people of Earth safe. They sneak up and discover that the leader of the White Martians is Protex, and where the prisoners are. They go to save Superman, and while they are there, they see a green light and meet Hal Jordan, who knows who they are and tells them that he is the protector of Sector 2814, and that they need his help, which Bruce agrees to, but he keeps an eye on Hal at all costs because he doesn't really trust him. While saving Superman, they have to fight off a bunch of white Martians. But Hal Jordan makes a construct wall to keep them out while Bruce opens the pot that Superman is in. When Superman wakes up, he flies through the construct and starts to fight all the Martians, and Hal Jordan goes to help him, while Bruce, Oliver, and the Flash go over to find the reactor to destroy it. Protex goes off to fight Superman and Hal, and Barry must run and hit a lightning bolt on a device that Batman put on the reactor to start the fire and the explosion that would destroy the ship and the aliens. He does that, but he gets hurt in the process, but still has to run Bruce and Oliver to safety. Protex and the soldiers, or the White Martians, are overpowering Superman and Hal because there's so many of them, but at the perfect time, the fire and the explosion blasts them all. Hal Jordan puts him and Soup in a circle to protect them. Superman obviously didn't need any protection, but Hal wanted to be safe. But because the mothership began to being destroyed, all the White Martians on Earth die, and the hero win this time. Heroes, the Justice League win. Then we see that Batman has bought a base for the Justice League in Washington, D.C., called the Hall of Justice. They get every member there who was fighting to join, except Nightwing, obviously. Even Aquaman, with only that if someone attacks the ocean or Atlantis, they would help him, and if someone attacks the Earth, he would help them, obviously. That's the deal. And the movie ends with them sitting at the table and talking about the NPC. So, an empty seats, more members to join. There are 2 post-credit scenes in this movie. The first one is Lex Luthor saying that he will kill every superhuman being because he blames them for the invasion. The end credit scene would be Darkseid being disappointed that Protex failed. He sent him in my universe, obviously. And that's why he didn't care about Batman and everything. He just wanted... The plan was to get Superman so he can make him a clone of him and destroy Earth easily. But anyways, let's go and talk about Phase 2 of my DC universe. The first movie of Phase 2 is Superman, the Man of Tomorrow. And like I teased in the Justice League movie, the villain is none other than Lex Luthor. But anyways, the movie starts off with showing us Lex's backstory, that he was a rich kid who was beaten by his father. Then we cut to Metropolis where Superman is fighting Metallo, a robot that matches Superman in strength and is somehow stealing Superman's DNA. Superman finally beats Metallo, but his DNA gets sent to Lex, who sent the robot for that one reason, to get his DNA. And the robot was supposed to not win or die, so Superman would have suspicions. After getting Superman's DNA, Lex starts experiments on his DNA and finds out his weakness, because he has been experimenting with kryptonite. After finding out many things about Superman, he starts to clone him. Meanwhile, we see Superman talking to a little boy who has been bullied in school and wants to end it all. He makes the boy change his mind and reminds him that everyone is important. But at that moment, a bunch of robots attack Superman because Lex wanted more DNA. But Superman fights the robots and 3 of them fly back to Luthor. And Superman follows them and shoots them down. And then he enters Luthor's building. But it was all a part of Luthor's plan. And he captured Superman. And it works. Superman gets captured in a kryptonite prison. And Luthor starts to experiment. Sometime later, the door of the prison opens, and it's none other than John Jones, aka the Martian Manhunter, and he helps Superman escape, and gets him back on his feet again. Lex finds out and is furious that Superman got away, because he nearly got everything he needed. So he sends one of his clones to get Lois Lane. Lex found out who Superman really is. The clone he sent is Bizarro, a dumb Superman clone. He goes off and gets Lois, and Lois calls out for Superman. And Superman, being smart this time, follows Bizarro to Lex without Bizarro knowing, and jumps Bizarro and knocks him out. But once again, Lex is one step ahead of him. Lex punches Superman through buildings of Metropolis, and we see Luthor's new suit designed for killing Superman and the Martian Manhunter. Talking about the Martian Manhunter, he sees the fight between Lex and Clark and joins in. and it's a 2v1 now, with Lex presses a button on his suit to send all the Superman clones to fight beside him. Some of the clones don't make it out alive, but one clone hates Luthor more than anything because he tortured him, and he attacks Luthor and joins Superman in the fight. They three are enough to defeat Lex and throw him in jail. They can't take in the clone, and it's Superboy if you didn't get it, and that's how the movie ends. The post-credit scene of the movie would be Superman exploring Luthor's lab and finding a boy with alien tech on him, Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle. The next movie of Phase 2 is Aquaman, War of the Kingdoms, and in this movie Aquaman is already king and has fought Black Manta and Orm. Black Manta is back and wanting to get his son back makes a truce with Nereus, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but anyways, that they would turn all the kingdoms against Aquaman, which works. So Aquaman, Aqualad, and Mera have to go on and break Orm out of prison, and they four team up. The 6 kingdoms attack, and they are overpowering Aquaman and his kingdom. While Black Manta and Aquaman are fighting, Nereus gets the upper hand on Aqualad and Mera, and he is about to kill Aqualad, but Orm, seeing it, jumps and saves Aqualad. But sadly, Orm dies in the process. He kills Nereus in the process as well. Aqualad comes and helps Aquaman defeat Black Manta, and they throw him in jail. Then Aquaman unites all the kingdoms as a king. The movie ends with a funeral for Orm, and Aqualad asks Aquaman about Black Manta, who told him earlier in the movie that he was his father. Aquaman tells him the truth, and Aqualad leaves Atlantis. The post-credit scene of this movie would be Nightwing coming to Aqualad, and they are setting up a new team. The next movie of Phase 2 is Batman Under the Red Hood, and the movie starts with Jason's revival in the Lazarus Pit. And then we see Batman, who has found himself a new Robin, Tim Drake, and they two are stopping a criminal. And then they go to the Batcave, where Batman is still struggling with the death of Jason. Meanwhile, Ra's al Ghul and the League of Shadows are training and getting Jason back on his feet. But while training, he jumps off the cliff, and Ra's al Ghul lets him escape. He goes to find Bruce and does, but he sees Bruce with a new Robin. Sometime later, we see Professor Pig working on bodies of his victim, but all of a sudden a rope goes around his neck and he gets pulled up and killed. And we see a redhead figure who killed Professor Pig, and he leaves a note for Black Mask, who is over Professor Pig in this universe. Batman, who was investigating Professor Pig's death, finds the note and it says, "Black Mask, I'm coming for you." Red Hood goes to Black Mask's base and starts to kill his bodyguard. And then right when he is about to kill Black Mask, Batman comes and saves Black Mask. Red Hood wanted to get Batman to come. It was his plan. Red Hood and Batman fight, and Batman notices the Red Hood knows everything Batman does. He breaks out of Batman's rope, who only people close to Bruce know how to do. And at the end of the fight, he shoots Batman in the perfect place, the only place that's not bulletproof. Batman goes to the Batcave to heal up and study who this Red Hood fella is. But then he gets a call from Jim Gordon that Arkham Asylum was under attack and that the Joker was taken. And at that moment, all the TVs in Gotham get a broadcast of Red Hood showing the Joker and saying that he is going to die for all that he has done. Bruce sees the video and finds out where they are, and he goes there and jumps Red Hood, and they two smash through a wall. But once again, Red Hood is one step ahead and shoots a grapple gun to spin kick Batman, and he says, "Why didn't you kill him, Bruce?" And then Bruce answered, "Who are you?" Like in the Arkham game.
Who are you?
You really have no idea, do you, Bruce?
Jason. But you're dead.
Let's not fall out here, Bats. I might have told you a teeny tiny little lie. But come on, look at the boy. You did good. We did good. You should be proud.
What's the matter? Lost for words? I expected more. I'm hurt.
Joker sent me the film. I saw him kill you.
Don't you dare lie to me! How long did you wait before replacing me, huh? A month? A week? I trusted you! And you just left me to die!
That's not what happened.
You always told me, Bruce. Focus on what I want to achieve, and it'll happen. You wanna know what I want now, huh? I want you dead.
They talk and Bruce gets some sense into him. Without killing the Joker, Jason leaves. And that's how the movie ends. The post-credit scene of this movie would be Nightwing and Aqualad going to a meteor site and finding an alien named Starfire. The end credit scene would be Deathstroke preparing for an invasion on Nata Parbat. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. That's Rachel Ghoul's space. The fourth movie of Phase 2 is The Flash Lightning Strikes Twice. And in the movie, Barry proposes to Iris. And Wally, Iris' uncle, who lives with Iris, goes out to buy groceries. Meanwhile, Barry gets the information that an organization called Black Hole is trying to open the Speed Force to use for themselves. But it all goes wrong and a storm goes over Central City, a Speed Force storm. And Flash goes out to save as many people as possible, but it's not enough because some get struck, which gave a lot of people super speed, including Iris' uncle, or nephew, Wally, and a fellow employee of the CCPT, August Hart. Star Labs put up a training center for the speedsters. Then a new speedster arrives and goes to Star Labs to kill all the speedsters there, and obviously to get their speed. But by the time Barry gets there, it's too late. Then the murderer of August's brother gets found on the street, dead. Barry finds out who Godspeed really is and goes to confront him, but it does not go according to plan, as Godspeed tries to steal his speed. Another speedster comes and attacks Godspeed, and it's no other than Wally West. He and Barry work together to take down Godspeed once and for all. Barry then takes Wally under his wing. The post-credit scene would be Nightwing talking to Aqualad about meeting up with Wally. The end credit scene would be the reverse Flash watching Barry's every move. The next movie of this universe is Shazam, and it will basically have the same plot as the real live one. But I would discard the whole Shazam family thing. I just didn't like it at all. I would also introduce a new character, Cyborg, and Billy loves to go to his games, and even gets to meet Victor. But it all goes wrong for Victor because when he and his mom were driving home from one of his games, they crash and the car explodes. His mom dies, but his father brings Victor back to life as a cyborg. Also in this movie, Dr. Shyvana wants to kill Victor's dad, and that makes Cyborg and Shazam team up, so they can save Victor's dad. They do, and they get everywhere on social media in the process. The movie ends with Superman meeting up with them to recruit them to the Justice League. They join, and Superman and Shazam spar. Superman wins, obviously. The post-credit scene of this movie would be Black Adam finding out about this new champion. The next movie would be a sequel to the Green Lantern, named Green Lantern's Rise of the Yellow Lantern. The movie would start with Sinestro changing into the Yellow Ring by traveling to the Fear Lodge and facing his own fear to spark up the ring. However, his green power ring goes out to find a new wielder, and Sinestro doesn't want that to happen, so he tries to get it back. The ring goes and finds Jon Stewart. Moments later, Sinestro shows up to kill him and take his ring back, but Jon runs away. Sinestro follows and he finds him. Right when he is about to kill Jon, Hal and Guy show up and are shocked to see that their ally, their friend Sinestro, in yellow. They all fight. Hal and Guy outsmart Sinestro and just get the time to escape back to Oa with Jon, who doesn't really want to be a part of this, but still gets dragged into it. Jon and Hal train together while Guy talks to the Guardians about Sinestro. The Guardians sent Guy, Hal, and Jon to go and talk to Saint Walker, a Blue Lantern, to get his help. They four put Jon up for bait, but when Sinestro comes to kill him, they all jump him, and they fight. Jon, who has been training, uses his full willpower, and they four are just enough to beat Sinestro and put him in jail. The post-credit scene would be Darkseid talking to Brainiac and preparing him to send him to Earth. I know Brainiac doesn't work for Darkseid in the comics, but I'm changing it a little bit. You'll see in the Justice movie. The next movie would be Wonder Woman 2. So I couldn't find a name for the movie, so it's gonna be 2 and 3. In this movie, Diana and her work buddy Barbara go to Egypt for an exploration. They're not finding what they came for, so they split up. Barbara falls into a cave where she finds the tomb of the cheetah god. The cheetah god offers Barbara her power, with the one condition that she must kill Wonder Woman. And then we see Wonder Woman discovering a random cave, but at that moment Cheetah jumps her and throws her into the cave. They fight and it's evenly matched, but Cheetah gets the upper hand. Sometime later Wonder Woman goes and prepares to fight Cheetah, and to stop her once and for all. She does and beats Barbara, but sadly kills her in the process, and she goes back home to her friend's funeral, Barbara's funeral. The post-credit scene of the movie would be Superman calling a meeting with Justice League and warning them about a dangerous ship coming to Earth. The final solo movie of Phase 2 is Green Arrow. The movie would start with showing us Oliver's backstory, that he killed a rabbit when he was younger and promised that he would never pick up a bow ever again. But sometime later, while he and his parents are out, lions attack and eat Oliver's parents, and he needs to pick up a bow to kill the lions. Years later, Oliver goes on a cruise and gets beat up and thrown off the ship. He wakes up on an island and has to learn to survive. The island was a big Mariana farm, and Oliver had to fight the people on it, and one of them was the Dark Archer, who Oliver beat up and burned alive. Oliver killed the rest of the people on the island and takes one of the planes to fly back home, where everyone thinks he's dead. He gets control of Queen Industries. The party celebrating his return, he sees the Dark Archer and goes to confront him or attack him. He gets terribly outsmarted and beaten nearly to death, but gets saved by a friend of her sister named Diane Laurel Lance, who inherited canary cries from her mother. The Dark Archer flees, and Laurel takes Oliver back to her home to make him whole again. She explains everything, and she knows Oliver is the Green Arrow, who has been stopping criminals, and she wants to help because criminals killed her mother. Oliver agrees, and they team up and go out to try to find the Dark Archer and stop him once and for all. And they do, and Oliver sees who the Dark Archer really is. He is an old friend, Malcolm Merlin, the guy who went on a cruise with him, and it turns out he was paid to kill Oliver. But then Malcolm kills himself, and Oliver and Laurel start dating at the end of the movie. The movie would end with Batman coming to Oliver, and they have a chat, and Batman gives him a system, so he can call him for a team, and that Oliver must scout a hero that runs really fast. The post-credit scene would be Professor Ivo making an Amazobot. But now, it's time for the second Justice League movie, named Justice League The World Collector, and the team would consist of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Aquaman, The Martian Manhunter, Green Arrow, Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, Cyborg, Shazam, and Black Canary. But anyways, the movie would start with the Justice League training and preparing for an invasion. Then we see Brainiac, who is talking to Darkseid about taking Superman to Apocalypse. Superman, Hal Jordan, and John then go up to space to look for the ship. They find the ship and go into it, where they all meet three powerful beings, Red Tornado, Captain Atom, and Major Force, who are all minions to Darkseid in this universe. They fight, and all of a sudden they get shot out of the ship and into Earth, where the Justice League come and help Superman and the Lanterns. They beat the three minions and even turn Captain Atom and Red Tornado against Brainiac because he killed their people. But Major Force doesn't give up and makes a gigantic explosion that makes Superman and the Flash take all the citizens to safety. When that was done, Superman tries to attack Major Force, but he gets an axe to the head by none other than Steppenwolf, who is here with an army and to help Major Force kill everyone except Superman. Steppenwolf takes a part of Superman's blood and takes it back to Brainiac. He and Major Force return to the ship while Brainiac's army is attacking everyone. They go to talk to Brainiac to send the blood of Superman back to Darkseid, but Brainiac wanted it for himself so he could rule the galaxy, so he sticks his tentacle through Steppenwolf's chest, killing him. Major Force was a part of this plan, so he didn't kill him. Superman, Captain Atom, Red Tornado, the Green Lanterns, and Wonder Woman sneak up into the ship, while the others fight Brainiac's army and save citizens. Brainiac, knowing that some of the heroes snuck in, traps Superman and leaves the other with Major Force. He confronts Superman, telling him everything about Krypton and letting him make a choice, either save Earth or save Krypton. Brainiac has collected Krypton if it wasn't obvious. Superman, not believing Brainiac, attacks him, and the two fight. Meanwhile, the rest of the heroes fight Major Force and are getting the upper hand, and Major Force fills up with rage and is about to explode with so much radiation that it could destroy the city. Diana calls to Superman about the explosion, and Superman, who is trying to save Krypton, stops fighting Brainiac and traps him. Superman goes outside the ship and flies the ship as far as possible from Earth, while the other heroes exit the ship. The Major Force explodes and destroys the entire ship and Brainiac with it. Superman gets really hurt in the explosion, and Hal must come and get him. Shortly later, Superman heals from his wounds. The movie would end with Captain Atom and Red Tornado joining the Justice League. The post-credit scene of the second Justice League movie would be Darkseid preparing to go to Earth himself, like the Thanos scene in Age of Ultron of the post-credit scene. The end credit scene would be apart from Apocalypse going to Earth. It's Doomsday, guys. The final movie of Phase 2 is Titans. The team would consist of Nightwing, Aqualad, Starfire, Kid Flash, Blue Beetle, and Superboy. And the movie would start with Nightwing and Aqualad looking at the recruits they made in the last few movies, and they would call all of them for a meeting. Nightwing and Aqualad have seen what the scientists are doing to a kid named Jaime Reyes, who Superman saved from Luthor Corp earlier, so they plan to do something about it, and they do. They break into the lab and take him to their hideout, where they treat him and let him join the Titans. With nothing left, he joins. But at that moment, Superman and Superboy come because he heard that the kid he saved has been kidnapped, because he doesn't know that they're treating him shit. He sees the kid with the Titans, he knew it was with the Titans, and he asks Nightwing what exactly is going on. Nightwing explains that they are making a team to prepare heroes for joining the Justice League someday, and Superman likes the idea and lets Superboy join the team, so he can learn teamwork. Later, while stopping criminals, an Amazobot shows up and attacks the Titans. The Titans try to fight back, but they can't really work together, so they get beaten, and the Amazobot takes Blue Beetle with him. But thankfully, Nightwing was able to shoot a tracker on the Amazobot and find his location. The Titans go to help their friend and find out who made the Amazobot. It's a crazy scientist named Professor Ivo, and Nightwing and Aqualad go to confront him, while the others go and break Jaime loose so they can all go and fight the Amazobot, who has all their powers. The team finally works together and destroys the Amazobot and stops Professor Ivo and put him behind bars, and the movie ends with the team forming. The post-credit scene of the movie would be Bruce Wayne surprising Dick Grayson with the Titan's tower, and then we cut to the night when someone knocks on the door, and it's Raven. And now we got the final phase of this universe, or Phase 3, the final phase of the Darkseid saga, and we're going just straight into it, so let's get started. The first movie of Phase 3 is an origin story of the Martian Manhunter called The Martian Manhunter, or just Manhunter. I really haven't figured out the name yet. But anyways, in the movie, we get, as I said earlier, his origin. On Mars, John Jones was a member of the peaceful Martian society known as the Green Martians. They possessed incredible shape-shifting abilities, telepathy, and other psychic powers. However, an event known as the Martian Holocaust occurred, wiping out most of the Green Martians and leaving John Jones as the last of his kind. The movie would mainly focus on the event, the war between the Green and the White Martians. In an attempt to survive, we see John sneaking into the mothership, and there he sees Protect talking to Darkseid. Protect is the main villain of the first Justice League movie, as you can remember. When the ship comes to Earth, one of the White Martians finds John, and they fight, and the movie ends with John fighting a lot of White Martians as Superman comes to help him, which happened in the first Justice League movie, so just dive right into the Justice League movie. The next movie of Phase 3 is Batman: Shadows of Gotham. The film begins with a battle between Batman, Tim Drake, who is the new Robin as you remember, and Dick Grayson versus Bane. Batman defeats Bane and throws him into jail, or Arkham. After that, we see the main villain of the film, which is Deathstroke, who is planning a surprise attack on Batman, and we find out that he sent Bane to go attack Batman while he goes and sets up his trap on Batman. which is set to set a bomb on the Batmobile, knowing that the car would tell Bruce about the bomb, which Bruce obviously disarmed. Later, Deathstroke goes undercover to attack the police station. He kills a lot of cops and frees Bane from the prison. Batman shows up and falls right into Deathstroke's trap and gets stuck, and Deathstroke reveals who he is, and we get to see how they train together under Ra's al Ghul, and then he leaves. On the way out, Nightwing and Tim try to stop Bane and Deathstroke, but it goes horribly wrong, and Tim is nearly beaten to death. And when he is about to be killed, the Red Hood comes and saves them. The Red Hood saves Batman again when he's stuck. Slade and Bane escape, and then Nightwing, Red Hood, Tim, and Batman get away. Slade and Bane, however, take Nightwing with them. At the Batcave, they get sent a video from Slade on where they can meet him and save Dick Grayson. Bruce denies Jason and Tim to go with him, and he goes alone. He fights Bane and Slade and is getting paid badly, and Bane is about to kill Bruce when Jason comes and saves Bruce, and together they defeat Bane and Slade. But Slade disappears, and now the Bat family is whole again. The post-credit scene would be a pod landing in the ocean, and it's Doomsday. The third movie of Phase 3 is a big one. It's the death of Superman. I would most likely name the movie something else so I wouldn't spoil the ending. But anyways, in the movie we see a giant meteor heading to Earth, which contains a new threat known as Doomsday. The meteor lands in the ocean, and Aquaman and his soldiers try to stop the monster, but they can't. Aquaman calls for the Justice League, and Doomsday goes off to find Superman and starts wreaking havoc in Metropolis. As Doomsday rampages through the city, the Justice League, including Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and others, unite to confront the creature. However, even with the combined efforts of Earth's mightiest heroes, the Justice League, not the Avengers, they fail to subdue Doomsday, resulting in a devastating battle. As the battle intensifies, Superman realizes the gravity of the situation and decides to make the ultimate sacrifice to protect his friend, his city, and the world. He engages in a final clash with Doomsday, culminating in a brutal battle that takes them both to the brink of destruction. In a cinematic act, the heroism Superman delivers a powerful blow to Doomsday. He kills Doomsday and gets a lot of injuries and dies in the process. The movie would end by showing us how sad the world is that they lost their greatest protector Superman in the funeral for Clark Kent, which Bruce Wayne, Diana, Lois Lane and all go to. Metropolis would mourn the loss of their greatest hero. The post-credit scene of this movie would be Darkseid receiving Superman's DNA. But anyways, the next movie is named The Hawks, and it's about, obviously, Hawkman and Hawkgirl. The movie begins by delving into the ancient Egyptian era, where Prince Khufu and Princess Kaiaru's forbidden love, sorry if I pronounced those names wrong, Hawkman and Hawkgirl, are abruptly ended when they are brutally murdered by Vidal Savage, a ruthless sorcerer seeking immortality. However, due to an ancient Egyptian curse, the souls of Khufu and Kaiara are bonded to be eternally reborn, discover their love, and resume their eternal war against Savage Opress. Not Savage Opress, Vandal Savage. It's not Star Wars, it's DC. I don't even know why I said that. As the story unfolds, we witness Hawkman and Hawkgirl's countless incarnations and tragic death, as Savage just kills them over and over again. Each time they are reborn, they slowly regain their memories and abilities, but Savage internationally makes it nearly impossible for them to bring him to justice. In the present day, they obviously are mourning Superman's recent death. Hawkman and Hawkgirl approach the Justice League for assistance. Wonder Woman takes up their cause and joins forces with the duo to put an end to Savage's reign and of terror, obviously. Together, Hawkman, Hawkgirl, and Wonder Woman engage in a battle against Vidal Savage, who has harnessed ancient artifacts and dark magic to become even more powerful. Hawkman, Hawkgirl, and Wonder Woman combine their skills and determinations to defeat Savage. With his defeat, the heroes finally break free from the cycle of death and rebirth, allowing them to live a life free from Savage. The post-credit scene would be our first look at Brutal, the Brutal is a clone of Superman that Darkseid made in his universe, with his DNA that he got at the post-credit scene of the death of Superman. The next movie would be one of my favorites, Constantine. The movie introduces us to, obviously, John Constantine, a cynical and tormented exorcist and occult detective. Haunted by its past mistakes, Constantine possesses the ability to see and interact with the supernatural entities that lurk in the shadows. As he battles demons and other supernatural forces, he struggles to find the redemption for his own soul. The story unfolds as Constantine investigates a series of mysterious and gruesome supernatural occurrences that threaten the unleash of power ancient evil upon the world. During this investigation, he uncovers shocking revelations about his own villages and the true nature of his powers. In his quest for answers, Constantine encounters Satana, a powerful sorceress who becomes an unlikely ally. Together, they delve into the dark underbelly of the occult, uncovering a conspiracy that reduces depth into the supernatural realms. As Constantine's journey progresses, the encounters with supernatural threats become more perilous, pushing him onto the edge of his abilities and testing his resolve, allowing the way he confronts his inner demons and faces the consequences of his past choices. In the final act, as the ancient evil threatens to unleash chaos upon the world, the Justice League take notice of Constantine's unique skills and abilities and navigate the supernatural realm. Recognizing the potential value that he can bring to the team, they attempt to recruit him into their ranks. But Constantine being Constantine, he doesn't join them. He is torn between his desire to protect humanity and supernatural threats and his disdain for authority. Utilizing the knowledge of the occult and his cunning to confront the malevolent force, through his teamwork with Zatanna, they manage to thwart the ancient evil's plan and save the world from their destruction. In the end, Constantine finds a sense of purpose and joins the Justice League that he rejected earlier in the movie. The post-credit scene of the movie would be something to do with Larfleeze, who is in the next movie. So now you know. Talking about the next movie, you could probably guess what it is, and yes, it's the third Green Lantern movie, named Green Lantern Corps Unleashed. And the movie begins with the powerful Orange Lantern, Larfleeze, launching a surprise attack on the Green Lantern's home planet of Oa. Larfleeze overwhelming might prove too much for the Green Lanterns, as Hal Jordan and John Stewart are among a few survivors who managed to escape. Realizing that they need additional help to counter Larfleeze's power, Hal and John decide to seek assistance from the other Lantern Corps across the universe. They embark on a dangerous journey to gather allies from the Blue Lanterns, the Indigo Tribe, and the Star Sapphires, each possessing unique abilities and strengths. While John reaches out to the Indigo Tribe, Hal takes a daring step and frees Sinestro, a former Green Lantern and the founder of the Sinestro Corps. Sinestro, known for his tactical brilliance and considerable power, agrees to join Hal Jordan and John in their mission to defeat Larfleeze. With their newfound allies, the Lantern Corps band together to launch a coordinated attack on Larfleeze's stronghold. The ensuing battle showcases the spectacular power and teamwork of the Lantern Corps, as they utilize their respective ring to overcome Larfleeze's forces. In an epic showcase, Hal, John, and Sinestro confront Larfleeze, engaging in a fierce battle that tests their resolve and strength. The three manage to overpower Larfleeze and ultimately imprison him, ensuring that he can no longer pose a threat to the universe or the Lantern Corps. The movie concludes with the Lanterns triumphant but aware that their duty to protect the cosmos never ends. Hal and John return to Oa, where they are hailed as heroes, while the various Lantern Corps relieve their commitment to preserving peace and justice throughout the universe. The post-credit scene would be something lurking in the shadows. It would be a hint as the next big foe for the Lantern Corps, and yes, you can guess it, it's Necron. The next movie of the universe, or the third movie in the Flash trilogy, yeah, I spoiled it, it's Flash, the final run. The story begins with Barry Allen's wedding to Iris West Allen, Shortly after the wedding, Barry and Wally receive a distress call about a man who has been transferred himself into a destructive tornado and wreaking havoc among the city. The two speechers, Wally and Barry, rush to the scene and successfully save the city from the tornado man. What is his name? I can't remember. Why didn't I type it down? Anyways, however, as they celebrate the victory, a mysterious red speecher known as the Red Dash suddenly appears and attacks Barry, whisking him away to the unknown location. Wally desperately searches for Barry but is unable to locate him. It is eventually revealed that the Red Dash is the Red Flash. The Reverse Flash, a notorious enemy of Barry. He taunts Barry by admitting that he murders Barry's mother and his involvement in the events surrounding her death. Delving into his origin story, Barry is less devastated by this revolution, as a fierce battle emerges between Barry and the Reverse Flash, but Barry finds himself outmatched and severely beaten. In a desperate attempt to survive, Barry manages to escape and returns home, where he discovers a letter threatening Iris' life unless he returns. Motivated by the safety of his wife, Barry regains determination and confronts the Reverse Flash once again. This time, however, Barry taps into his inner strength and manages to defeat the Reverse Flash, but not without putting his own life in grave danger. In the process of defeating the Reverse Flash, Barry comes previously close to losing his life. However, through sheer willpower and determination, he manages to overcome the odds and emerge victorious. The movie ends with Barry and Iris' reunion, and they go on their honeymoon. The post-credit scene would be Amanda Waller setting up the Task Force X, aka the Suicide Squad. The next movie of the universe would be Shazam! Black Adam Returns. When news of a new champion reaches Black Adam, he sets out on a mission to find and eliminate this potential threat. Black Adam, fueled by his desire for dominance, launches a surprise attack on Shazam, catching him off guard and inflicting several damage. However, just when it seems all hope is lost, Cyborg intervenes and manages to save Shazam, temporarily giving him a chance to recover and regroup. Realizing that he cannot face Black Adam alone, Shazam embarks on a quest to uncover the hidden World War II ruin that holds a myth about the Justice Society, a legendary team of heroes from the past. Within the ruins, Shazam discovers 4 members of the Justice Society: Jay Garrick, the original Flash, Alan Scott, the first Green Lantern, Hourman, and Mr. Terrific. Together, Shazam and the reawakened Justice Society members return to the Hall of Justice, a gathering place for heroes. They devise a strategy to stop Black Adam, and they combine their unique abilities. Shazam, Jay Garrick, Alan Scott, Hourman, and Cyborg form a formidable force against Black Adam. The final battle between Shazam and Black Adam is an intense and thrilling showdown, with both champions pushing their powers to the limit. Through the strategy, teamwork, unwavering determination, and the strength of their combined abilities, the heroes manage to overcome Black Adam's formidable might, ultimately defeating him and restoring peace with him and making a deal. The deal is that if they need help, he would come help them, and if he needed help, the Justice League would come help him if his city was in danger. But anyways, the next movie of Phase 3 and the final film before Justice League is Wonder Woman 3. I couldn't come up with a better name, so you could help me with that. The movie begins with Wonder Woman receiving a distress call from the island of the Mascara, her home and her birthplace of the Amazons. As she arrives, she discovers that the peace and harmony of the island have been shattered by the sudden appearance of Zeus, the king of the gods, who has grown resentful and vengeful towards humanity. Zeus has become corrupt by his own power and the relentless prayers of mortals seeking his favor. Believing that humanity has become unworthy of his divine protection, he begins unleashing havoc and destruction upon the mortal realm. Diana realizes that she must confront Zeus to save both the mortal world and the gods themselves. Guided by her unwavering determination and her knowledge of Greek mythology, she sets out on a perilous journey to find the hidden realm of Olympus, where the gods reside. Along the way, Wonder Woman encounters various mythical creatures, including centaurs, harpies, and even monstrous titans, who have all been summoned by Zeus to stop her. She fights valiantly, showcasing her extraordinary combat skills, her Amazonian strength, and her unwilting compassion for the innocents. As Wonder Woman reaches Olympus, she faces the full wrath of Zeus, who has become an immensely powerful and twisted version of his former self. Between the battle of God versus demigod, Diana must not only defeat Zeus, but also confront his misguided beliefs and convince him of the goodness within humanity. With her unbreakable lasso of truth and the power of love, Wonder Woman defeats Zeus and brings an end to his destructive rampage. But Zeus doesn't give up and stands up and tries to defeat Wonder Woman, but at that time an Omega beam goes through his chest and Zeus falls down dead. And we see Darkseid standing behind his body, and that's how the movie ends. There's no post-credit scene for Wonder Woman 3. I will go straight into the next movie of the universe named Justice League Eternal War. But anyways, the movie begins with Wonder Woman engaging in a fierce battle against Darkseid, but she is overpowered and sends a distress message to the Justice League. Upon receiving the message, the Justice League members respond and confront Darkseid. However, Darkseid reveals his secret weapon, a Superman clone named Brutal, along with his army of parademons and paradooms. If you don't know paradooms, it's parademons plus Doomsday, so they're all powered. During this battle between the Justice League and Darkseid and his army, most of the Justice League members are killed, but Batman, Hal Jordan, Wonder Woman, Flash Barry Allen, Constantine, and Green Arrow manage to escape. Realizing that they need more help, they set out to recruit additional members to their cause. They gather Mera, Plastic Man, Black Adam, and the Titans, forming a new alliance. Together, they devise a plan to revive Superman, who is successfully brought back to life, although he doesn't have his power when he's brought back to life. The team go on a mission to try and stop Brutal, knowing, or not knowing, it's just a theory that Batman comes up with, that if any of his friends, Batman, Wonder Woman, or Flash, Green Lantern, get in real danger or near death, then Superman's power will kick in and he can help them. As they face Brutal, Brutal beats them all up badly. However, when Brutal is on the verge of killing Batman, Superman's powers suddenly kick in and he joins the fight. With the assistance of Black Adam, they manage to defeat Brutal, and Black Adam kills Brutal. The movie ends with the Justice League regrouping and devising a plan to stop Darkseid, and Batman goes out to recruit Deathstroke. While we are talking about Deathstroke, the next project of the universe would be a show about Deathstroke, and the difference between the shows in this universe and the shows in the MCU is that you don't really need to watch the shows to understand what the rest of the universe is about. They're just there to give you a little bit more on the universe and describe the character. So you don't have to watch them, they're just to help you understand the characters more. But anyways, the show is centered around Deathstroke. We delve into his origins and then a unique training experience with Batman under the watchful eye of Ra's al Ghul. Alongside them is Talia, Ra's al Ghul's daughter, who develops a romantic interest in Batman, although they are not a committed relationship. As the story unfolds, Deathstroke and Batman find themselves united in a common goal to defeat Ra's al Ghul, a formidable leader of the League of Assassins. However, they face a mortal dilemma as they differ in their views on whether they should kill Ra's al Ghul or spare his life. Obviously, Deathstroke kill, Batman spare his life. This turns the two against the one and the other, and they fight. Bruce defeats Deathstroke and saves Ra's al Ghul's life, and Slade Wilson and Bruce Wayne go their separate ways. The next movie of Phase 3 is The Suicide Squad. In The Suicide Squad, the brilliant supervillain Lex Luthor and Amanda Waller, the mastermind behind Task Force X, form a team of villains to combat the sinister threat of Granny Goodness and Vermin Wunderbar. If you don't know, he is one of Darkseid's minions, as Granny Goodness is also, but you probably know who that is. Lex goes and joins the team as their leader, wearing the mech suit that he wore in the second Superman movie, The Man of Tomorrow. It's upgraded, obviously. The members of the Suicide Squad are Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Captain Cold, Heatwave, Solomon Grundy, Bronze Tiger, Cheetah, Dr. Light, Captain Boomerang, Bane, and Black Manta, and obviously you know Lex Luthor. Each member possesses unique abilities and troubled past, making them the perfect candidates for the assignment. The movie opens with Lex and Waller assembling the squad, obviously to stop the danger that Granny Goodness and Vermin Wooder possess on Earth. Too powerful, assertive, bent on wreaking havoc, the Suicide Squad embarks on a series of thrilling battles, fighting their way through formidable enemies to reach their targets. Tragedy strikes as Dr. Light and Captain Boomerang Bronze Tiger lose their lives during a fierce encounter with the enemy base. Until the remaining members press forward, gaining crucial information about Granny Goodness' whereabouts from Vermin Woodabar before Cheetah takes his life. The squad confronts Granny Goodness in her stronghold, engaging in a fierce battle. However, the harrowing mission claims the lives of Heatwave and Captain Cold. They die. In a selfless act of sacrifice, Deadshot offers his life to aid the Suicide Squad in obtaining vital information and ultimately defeating Granny Goodness. Following their victory, Superman arrives to speak with Lex Luthor. Impressed by the squad's bravery and success, Superman proposes recruiting the team to help them defeat Darkseid. The Suicide Squad joins the Justice League as a formidable ally in the fight against Darkseid. Oh yeah, the movie Suicide Squad happens at the exact same time as the Justice League Eternal War movie. The final film of this universe, or at least Phase 3, is Justice League Apocalypse War. In the movie, the Justice League expands its ranks by recruiting new members, including Deathstroke, Mr. Terrific, and the Suicide Squad. However, their unity and strength are put on an ultimate test when Darkseid learns of Granny Goodness's demise and sets his sight on Earth, determined to kill the League. Darkseid, a powerful cosmic being, personally arrives on Earth, unleashing his formidable might against the Justice League. Realizing the dire situation, Batman instructs Barry Allen, the Flash, and Lex Luthor to flee this battle. Recognizing that they are the only hope for the League's survival, Barry hesitates, but under the guidance of Constantine and a little spell, he follows Batman's order. The League engages in a fierce battle with Darkseid, but proves to be outmatched. Darkseid captures Batman, Mr. Terrific, and a few surviving members, taking them to his stronghold on Apocalypse, where he intends to force them to crack the anti-life equation. Trapped in cells, Bruce Wayne Batman encounters Mr. Terrific, a powerful ally, and a surviving Nuke God. Together, they devise a daring plan to escape their cell and free the remaining imprisonment heroes, consisting of Superman, Black Adam, and Mr. Terrific. Their breakout is successful, but the group fights their way through Apocalypse, eliminating the formidable Calabac along the way. Meanwhile, they discover that the whereabouts of the Flash and Lex Luthor and meet up with the two. But their reunion is a part of Darkseid's plan. Unknown to the heroes, Darkseid had planned a tracker on Mr. Miracle. The few heroes fight Darkseid and his army again. Barry realizes his crucial role and tells Bruce to convey his love to everyone he knows before sacrificing himself to save them. Barry runs at incredible speed and saves everyone that died in the past in the Justice League Eternal movie. So they all come and we get this final battle between the Justice League and the Suicide Squad and the Teen Titans versus Darkseid, something like in the Avengers Endgame. But sadly, Barry loses his life in the process. With the combined forces of the Justice League, Justice Society, Titans, and the Suicide Squad, the heroes stand united against Darkseid and his army. A colossus battle engages, and Batman sacrifices himself to defeat Darkseid and his forces, giving the heroes a chance to save Earth. Although they successfully protect the planet, the heroes mourn the loss of their fallen friends and heroes, Batman, Bruce Wayne, and the Flash, Barry Allen. The movie ends with a funeral for the two, paying tribute to these legendary heroes who gave their life to save Earth. And there will be no post-credit scene because this is the end of the Darkseid saga. And that's what I would do if I was in control of the DC universe. And thank you all so much for watching, and I would want to make a phase 4 if this video does well. But with that all done, I'll catch you all later. Goodbye.